Dear students, let's continue chapter 2, Windows of Knowledge. Today we shall learn how hearing is possible with the help of our ears. And then we shall discuss about tongue, and then about nose, and finally we shall discuss about skin. First, we shall discuss on how hearing is possible, or how we are able to hear with the help of our ear. So in last class we have studied about the structure of ear, and we know that the ear is divided into three parts: the external ear, middle ear and inner ear. And I hope you are remembering the structure of inner ear and the parts of inner ear. So which are the parts of inner ear? It consists of cochlea, vestibule and semicircular canals. And we know that cochlea is a coiled tube-like structure which is similar to a snail. But in this diagram you can see the uncoiled structure of cochlea. So this part is cochlea, and here you can see the uncoiled structure of cochlea. This is given only for learning purpose. Actually the real structure, the actual structure of cochlea is coiled, which is similar to a snail. Now here you can see this is auditory canal. Here there is pinna and this is auditory canal, and here you can see tympanum, then three bone-like structures, nellus, incus and stapes. And here you can see a membrane is attached to stapes. The name of that membrane is oval window. Here this is oval window, and here you can see another membrane. This membrane is termed as round window. Then the function of this membrane is to enable the movement of fluid inside the cochlea. So this is cochlea. Here there is some fluid inside the cochlea, and the movement of this fluid is possible with the help of round window. So let us look on to the structure once more. Here there is pinna, and then it is auditory canal, tympanum, ear ossicles which include malleus, incus and stapes. Then an oval window, there is a membrane. This membrane is termed as oval window. Then this is cochlea, and then round window. So the cochlea consists of an upper chamber, then a middle chamber and a lower chamber. So here you can see three chambers: an upper chamber, a middle chamber and a lower chamber. There is a membrane that separates the middle chamber from the lower chamber. So here there is a membrane that separates the middle chamber from the lower chamber. And on that membrane we can see specialized sensory hair cells. So these sensory hair cells act as the auditory receptors. So the sensory hair cells, and along with the basilar membrane, is commonly known as organ of Corti. So what is organ of Corti? The specialized sensory hair cells along with the basilar membrane constitute the organ of Corti. Now let us see how hearing is possible. So the sound waves that enters through our ear, through pinna, then it passes through the auditory canal, and this sound waves then vibrates the tympanum, and this vibration transmits through the ear ossicles, and then it vibrates the oval window. And when the oval window gets vibrated, what happens is it helps in the movement of fluid inside the cochlea. So we can see the oval window or this membrane vibrates, and as a result the fluids starts to move. So when these fluids move, we know that we already studied that there is a membrane which consists of specialized sensory hair cells. So with the help of the movement of fluids, the sensory hair cells get stimulated, and as a result impulses are generated. Then these impulses get transmitted through the auditory nerve to our cerebrum, and as a result we can hear the sound. So this is the entire process of hearing. Now we shall learn how our ear helps in body balancing. So we already studied that the vestibule and semicircular canals of the inner ear helps in body balancing. So how it is possible? Normally the body balancing is maintained in accordance with the movement of our head. When we move our head, what happens is the endolymph present inside. Endolymph is a fluid that present inside the vestibule and semicircular canals. So when we move our head, this endolymph move, and as a result the sensory hair cells inside the vestibule and semicircular canals move. So when the sensory hair cells move, it generates an impulse, and this impulse is transmitted by vestibular nerves to the cerebellum. It is not transmitted to the cerebrum, but it is transmitted to the cerebellum. So this is how our body balance is maintained, or body equilibrium is maintained. Okay children, so we studied all the details about two sense organs, eye and ear. Now we shall discuss about tongue. So how our tongue helps us to detect the taste? We already studied that the receptors associated with tongue is chemoreceptors. So chemoreceptors helps us to detect the taste. So where is the location of this chemoreceptors? You can see a projected part in this diagram. So this projected part is termed as papillae. So on this papillae, numerous number of taste buds are present. So here you can see this is taste bud. So numerous taste buds are present on this papillae, and chemoreceptors are present inside the taste buds, which helps in detecting diversity of taste including salt, sweet, sour, bitter, umami, etc. So umami is a new term for you. This is a Japanese term. The meaning of this term is happiness. So this taste is associated with the food items including milk, then seafood, meat, etc. So the substances responsible for taste get mixed with the saliva, and as a result the chemoreceptors get stimulated and it generates impulses, and this impulses reaches our brain, and as a result we are able to detect the taste. Now we shall learn how we are able to sense out the smell using our nose. So we already studied that the receptors associated with nose is olfactory receptors. So how we are able to sense out the smell with the help of our nose? The aromatic particles, for example, if we are using a body spray or if something is cooking in the kitchen, the aromatic particles of the spray or the food material mixes with the air. So this aromatic particles along with the air enters through our nostrils, and then it dissolves in the mucus inside the nostril. So this creates a sensation and it creates the impulses. So these impulses get transmitted to the brain, and so that we can sense out the smell.
Now we shall discuss about skin. Skin consists of numerous number of receptors, which include heat receptors, cold receptors, touch receptors, pressure and pain receptors, which are felt by our skin. When these receptors are stimulated, impulses are generated and it is transmitted to the cerebrum for its perception. Our fingertip contain more number of touch receptors. Now we shall learn about the receptors of certain organisms around us. The receptor of planaria is eye spot, which helps to detect light. The receptor of housefly is ommatidia. Housefly have thousands of small eyes, and it consists of cluster of receptors called ommatidia. The receptor of shark is the lateral line on either side of body, which help to detect the change in the equilibrium of body. And the sense organ of snake is Jacobson's organ, which is seen on the roof of the mouth cavity. The aromatic particles that stick on the tongue of the snake reaches the Jacobson's organ, so that the olfactory receptors present in the Jacobson's organ get stimulated. With the help of olfactory receptors, it can sense out the smell.